day to just have fun and be with you and have a fun afternoon together. So put that on your agenda for next summer. But before the next summer comes along, we have a couple fall fun events that are taking place too. Next month, there's a big conference going on in Houston called Summit, and there will be it's hosted by Dynamic Communities, so there'll be GP partners and customers there, as well as all different types of Dynamics customers on FO, CRM, BC. We can do an alphabet soup, I think, on some of the letters that Microsoft has, but it'll be a Microsoft conference, 3-day conference down in Houston on October 12th, 13th, and 14th. If you're interested in attending something like that, let me know and I'll help get you the information. Deb is actually doing a couple speaking engagements. One is on payroll as well while she's there. And so and we will have a booth there. So I'd love to see you there if you're going to be in the Houston area. Then our big event, which is the one I absolutely love, is the customer user group will be coming up November 15th through the 19th, that whole week. The first 2 days are kind of dedicated to the key to act customers, as well as we will be having a whole GP 101 series. So if you have new staff or you want to cross-train your current staff, those are the perfect days to be able to attend. Right now, we are still planning on holding it. It will be virtual, so wherever you're at, you can always attend any of the sessions virtually. And we are still trying to have it at Microsoft on campus. As of yesterday, I did check with a staff member there, and we're able to attend on premise as well. The 17th, 18th, and 19th are dedicated to GP. There's about 5 or 6 sessions taking place at all times, so would love to see everyone there. And it's just a wonderful way to learn something new, review something that you may have known in the past and haven't been using, or like I said, bring in new staff members. It'll be a wonderful, wonderful educational week. The sessions are all recorded and they will be saved out on a special area on our website for the following 6 months. So if you're attending a session and there's another one that you want to attend, stay in the session you're in and learn, and then go watch the recording of the one that was the second choice or the third choice that you wanted to see. Maybe there's tips that you want to go back and look at later. And I do remind you once a month that this information is out there, as well as the ISVs that are sponsoring. They have great products and you can go check out their information. So it's kind of about 6 months of education that you can learn from that whole week in November. So hope to see you all there. Well, now that the commercial's over, Deb, I'm going to turn it over to you, to this payroll, what people came for today. So thanks, Deb. I know you love payroll and you're fabulous with this module. I just love to see you present.
Well, there's a couple other really big things coming around payroll. Is that Molly from Green Shades has been doing some payroll pop-ups. And we were at one in Minneapolis for a quick little payroll pop-up that she does with tons of learning and payroll items, and really, really missed that whole side of learning and being at conferences around payroll, because we just haven't had that many. And so it was really a fun event in Minneapolis, and I asked Molly to come back, do it in Fargo around GPUC. So she's trying to get that on her calendar for November 15th, first day of GPUC. So we might have some special payroll stuff going on as well around that first Monday. So typically I know all my payroll people are in that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but kind of take a look at it on your calendar, hold on to that date for us, because I can tell you that payroll pop-up, so many good things, okay? So when you think of your payroll application, I know all you guys do a really good application. You know, a couple things that, especially if you're emailing any applications, take take a look at what information is being on that, what's going on in that application, what you're asking someone to provide. And if you are emailing or asking, having your supervisors email it back or email it across, make sure there's nothing sensitive. And if there is, get a password on that, get it out of email. Okay, that was a big thing that they really stressed, is like, be careful internally, even what information is being going across email when it comes to employees. So many good things like that, just reminders. The state of Minnesota has different laws regarding that sensitivity of data, and also on things like, we think about all the time, like W-4 changes, I-9 changes, what we can and can't do on any of those forms, and making sure that you always have an absolute clean copy of that form, which again, things just were good reminders, right? Oh, sorry guys, got stuff popping up everywhere on my screen here for you as I'm chatting away, but be looking for that. We've got tons of information coming. We've got Terry Healy doing a bunch as well at GPUC, so be looking for those. I am so excited because there's so much coming yet for payroll. That's always a fun thing. Terry's starting to release some of the net new things that we're all going to get here pretty quick, and the newest features on 18.4, I think is our actual name, but you know what I mean? It's our next one coming that's due out just in a few days here. So guys, I'm having a little bit of grief jumping between my PowerPoint and my GP. So I'm just going to kill my PowerPoint for now. I'm going to go back into GP, and I want to take a look at, just so you don't have me have to restart my session here all the time, I want to take a look at old and new. Okay, some old stuff and then blend in some new stuff. And I know Judy's doing a great job at watching for questions. So guys, as I go through some of these, if you have questions, please put them into the chat. Put them into the question pane. If you say, okay, I really don't know how to type this out, I really want to talk, let us know. We can unmute, right, Judy? We can do that. We can unmute, get everybody talking at the same time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Right now, I am on 2018 GP, and some of you are like, "Oh, I'm only on 16." Well, if you're on 16, I'm going to tell you right now, we got to get some work done, because we got to get you up to 2018 before year end. 16 is not getting payroll tax updates right now, and it is not getting a year end update. So we have to get that up. I just reviewed some of the things that are changing at year end, things that we need to be ready for, and there is so much around 1099s, I don't even want to tell you. 1096 forms, 1099Rs, if you have to do those, the pension forms. So make sure that we are on a current supported release. The NECs, of course, most of us did those last year. They really were pretty easy to do. Green Shades does a great job. If you can't physically get updated between now and end of year, they'll take those old 1099 miscellaneous box 7, and they'll actually convert them over as well. So kind of some good things there. If absolutely you're on the struggle to get things done before year end, which I know sometimes is hard, kind of keep that in mind. So guys, I'm on 2018, but this feature that I want to show you is what they call a navigation list. And the reason why I stress navigation lists is because they keep adding more to them. So I really want you guys to take a look at these. Now, I'm not saying you got to use them every day, all day long, but I want to show you what's in these. And I know I can just feel all you guys rolling your eyes at me already. Now stop that, and let's take a look and see some of the things that we can do inside navigation list, because I am on just my simple employee navigation list. It looks pretty simple, right? But did you guys know from here, I can do a quick find. I can look for an employee ID that contains just BR, and I can find all my employees. So I'm kind of looking, I'm doing a lookup, but I'm not all the way into the employee card. I'm back over here on a navigation list, and I did that pretty simple. And I can do it where I can say, okay, show me where everyone that's in a specific class. Maybe I only know part of a phone number for an employee, because sometimes that happens, right? You can see how easy this window is to work with. And I'm going to go ahead and just kill this one off and get back to my full list, because this is my full active employee list. I can tell Aaron right here is inactive, right? And this, like I said, this is an old thing. Navigation lists are really old. There's so much we can do with them. I just double click, and now I'm in looking at Aaron. Close that out. I'm back here, and you can see I've got a signal right here that tells me that Aaron's inactive, but I still see that person in my list. I have different filters here where I can say exclude those inactives up here as well. But I'm going to tell you guys, one of my favorite things to do is if I go ahead and I click on, let me get my filter going here again, all employees, going to go ahead and click on Alan here. And if you see Alan, Alan is an active employee, right? And you know, there's so many times when I'm working on Alan and I might want to do things like update pay codes. I'm just going to refresh this one more time. Seems like, Judy, that we still are just having that trouble spot on our connection. My fault. Sorry, Judy. I should have just restarted it altogether. But when I'm looking at Alan or any of my employees, I do have a full gamut of items here at the top that I can use. I can go ahead and add pay codes. I could do check inquiries. I can do everything from here. And I'm just going to say yours is going to work much better than mine because I'm definitely having a Deb Jinx day, right, Judy? But one of the new features that you're getting in 2018 that a lot of you on 2018 already have, and I bet you've missed this one. So I definitely want to call this one out. So if you haven't seen this one yet, put it on your list to go back, take a look at when you get back. If you noticed, Aaron, my employee that was inactivated, he has got date inactivated. He has a reason. How many of you have started using underneath payroll employment history? If you haven't started using that one already, take a look. And you can see here, I'm tracking that voluntary, the date, all of the information around the separation from the employee right here. So if this employee comes back and I reactivate him, okay, and when I reactivate him, so I'm just going to get rid of my last day worked there, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay, I'm going to activate all of mine, and I'm going to let all of those guys get activated again. Now, if Alan should or Aaron should go ahead and have another change in date, change in that history, I'm going to be able to again record that back, and it records automatically to that window. So I think that's one that a lot of people are just kind of skipping over as they look at what they're doing with employees and all the information that we are collecting here. Now, at the same time, there's my activated, but if I go back to my voluntary here, you notice I have a notepad. I can add in some of that additional documentation around that whole process if I need to. Maybe last check was sent on this day, keys were returned, any of that quick information that you just want to hold somewhere, but you don't want it maybe on the main card for that employee. Again, kind of keep this one in mind. I think this is a really good window that we've all been asking for a long time around dates. But you can see here, I did mine all on the same day. Sorry guys, it doesn't look as good, but you can see I have got the voluntary where I actually terminated the employee. And then when I reactivated him again, you can see he's coming back right here. Okay, isn't that a fun feature? How many of you guys knew that when we had that one? It's pretty fun. Okay, so couple other things that I want to show you back on our navigation list, because remember, I just double clicked and away I went, right, to get into that employee, right? But one other big one here that a lot of people forget about is that we have the ability, and I think we got this one in 2016, Judy, if I remember right, but we have the ability here to look at our payroll posting accounts. And those of you that have worked with me forever know that I typically put a smart list out there for you to work with your payroll posting accounts, because that setup window can be a nightmare. How's that? Nightmare, right? So if you take a look, you have the different account types here. You have your departments, your positions, your payroll codes here, and the GL account number along with an overall description for that GL account number. Now, the nice part about this is not only can you use your filters to say, let me see where all my payroll account types maybe are set to gross pay. Now, on mine, it's not very impressive because I have such a simple little set of accounts going here. But if you haven't played with these on yours yet, take a look, go ahead, play with them. All of my gross pay is going to one account. How simple can that be, right? For you, you might have thousands of accounts going, and you might want to narrow down by a department or a position or maybe a payroll code, okay? And the thing that's nice about this, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my overall here. What's nice about this, guys, if notice you have your Excel here, and you can export this listing to Excel. maybe you start a new division, you start a new department or location, and you need to add in those posting accounts. Guess what? You not only can export to Excel, but you can tidy up there, make your changes, and then import right back. So now you have the ability to do a quick, easy import of your payroll posting accounts. Now I'm going to tell you guys, if you haven't done this one before, 2 rules, right, Judy? 2 rules.
Okay.
Never do it right before a payroll, okay? You always want to give yourself time on these because it is a little bit of learning. You also want to make sure you're doing it in your test company first, because if you break your test company, you're not going to stress over your live company and getting your payroll out the door. Okay, so make sure, give yourself time. Don't do it the second before payroll, because you know if we're going to have a complete collapse, that's when it's going to happen, right, Judy?
Right. This is a cool feature. This never used to be here. I like
Cool
this.
feature. It is. And guys, I tell you, I've been sworn to secrecy for the last few months on a feature, and Terry just released it on her blog post today. And we are going to get the ability to copy paste payroll transactions into GP Dynamics in the next release that's coming. So we're going to get to be able to copy paste payroll transactions, which I know so many of you have wanted for so long. I'm talking to you about this one because my thinking is it might look something like this, but I don't know until I see it, and I won't get to see it quite yet either, but it's kind of been one of those brand new features that we're all excited to get, right? So this one you guys have had for a while. So on your 16s and your 18s, you'll see this one. You'll see a lot of these navigation lists. If you haven't started playing with these, play with them. They are very fun. They're easy. You can't break anything here, okay? Be looking for more on those. There's tons as far as reporting, everything on these, that they're just a whole new window, a whole new way to really navigate in the system, okay? Now, I'm going to go back in because a couple of the other new features, I'm just going to bring up my favorite employee here, Pilar. She decides she's going to like me. And I'm going to go up to my go-to button into my payroll. I'm going to go down to my pay codes. And I could have gotten this through my pay code button, but you know how it is. So I know a lot of you guys have really started cleaning up and working on your pay codes, right? Don't forget about your primary pay code. If you're using any of the Excel refreshables, they're going to draw a lot from that primary pay code. Our PTO liability report pulls from that primary pay code. If you say, give me all the people in my company and their primary pay code, it's going to be able to tell you exactly that pay matrix that you guys all need and want to have. But if you don't start with that key piece of information, that primary pay code checked, you won't be able to pull a lot of those in. So if you're sometimes saying, oh, Deb, I just don't like some of these Excel refreshables. I don't like my smart list because I can't get, you know, my annualized wages. It's probably because you're missing that primary pay code. So give yourself a little bit of time, put that on your cleanup list as you go through and you look at things that you are wanting to get cleaned up before year end, right? Double check all your retirement boxes if they're marked, make sure that everybody's got, you know, all their data scrubbed as far as, you know, the addresses and the zip codes and all those things that we struggle with when it comes to that overall filing and the electronic filing. Okay, oopsie. Sorry, Judy, I know you told me to shut that one off. I thought I had it, so sorry. Okay.
No worries.
So guys, but a big feature here, primary pay code is super old. I think it's as old as I am, Judy. But one of the new features that we got, I want to say 2016, was a start and end date, okay, on our pay codes, which is super exciting because I can actually move an employee from hourly to salary or hourly 1 to maybe hourly 2 with a start and an end date. If I have populated those. Now it's not required. So as we move people up to this, it's not like shutting off your payroll. But if I want to use it and my payroll transaction entry window, my defaults there for begin and end on the transaction entry window, if those are set in a manner that does not correspond with a start or end date here, they won't even show the pay code in the lookup. So have you ever had that where you're like, okay, I don't know what's wrong, but I just set this pay code up and I can't see it? It probably is that. Okay, so kind of keep in mind these, it's a new feature, not required, but if I'm going to do some kind of a change to an employee, like an hourly to a salary to hourly, and it doesn't start for X, okay, this is a good place to put it. Put your start and your end date in. If you notice, I've got my inactive here as well, and a couple other changes from the past on these inactives is they weren't always really good about including them in the lookups. It's like, oh, I don't want to see all my inactives. Be watching for that now on a lot of your lookups in payroll, because they have started to filter by inactives. And one of my other favorites, oh, I know my payroll people are going to love this one. We've had it for a while now, where before, and not on the pay code itself, but think of more of your deductions and your benefits, guys. When you're looking at rolling down maybe a change for an amount for a premium, and it goes ahead and it rolls down to only active people, right? Well, then Susie comes back. Susie was inactive through that change process, and she's got all these old rates in, right? Because she didn't get the new rates because she was inactive. Well, now you have the ability to roll down to all employees or just active employees. So it's going to pick up those inactive employees if you give yourself a second, stop, read the message, right? Take a look at it and say, oh, I do want to run these through my inactives, because guess what? Especially for like Blue Cross Blue Shield, are you ever going to put somebody back on an old premium? Probably not, right? So that's one of my other favorite ones. But again, watch those windows, watch those roll downs as they're happening, okay? You know, a lot of people last year for W-2s had probably a lot of questions as far as, you know, sometimes, you know, where these W-2 boxes were coming in and they're like, gosh, I just haven't seen so many W-2 boxes, right? Well, they have been adding W-2 boxes in different places than we probably have seen in the past. So don't let that alarm you. What it really is helping with is a lot of the new reporting and some of the reporting changes. So adding in more W-2 boxes is not a bad thing. And always remember, you know, these little arrows that go back and forth sometimes can hide a W-2 if you need to put a code in this box. Now, this box right here on the pay code side, I don't need a code into it. I would only need a code if maybe, let's say it was for one of my CARES Act reporting type pay codes. Okay, for right now, it's perfectly fine as it is. Okay. So some of those, I know a lot of you guys probably have seen and have played with some of those, but just some of the new features there. Now, one of the other big ones I will show you here, let me just jump back out of here. And if you notice, I typically spend a lot of time on my HR payroll overall screen like this. And I know, you know how messy my screens are always messy. But I like this for payroll because as I'm running through and I'm doing my transaction processing, if you notice, I can do my transactions, I can do my build, I can do my calculate. Always remember, if you have a build in play and you lose your printout, don't rebuild. If that's your only reason for building and rebuilding, don't rebuild. Just use your print button again. That same printout is still sitting there waiting for you. Just have to hit your print button and it'll come right back to your screen. That works the same way on your calculate, guys. Did you know that? See how I've got this one calculated? I have no errors, I have no warnings. It's beautiful. It is ready to go to print. Somehow it didn't come out my printer. I can go ahead and do the same thing, just use my file and my print again. And if you notice on my screen, my print was kind of hidden, right? Just click the file button and it will be right there. And again, I'm printing from here. They did add a couple things on your check reports in 2018. They added some new totals. So if you haven't checked those out yet, check those out. They also gave you the ability to turn off some of your garnishment reports. So in your printing setup, you can go ahead and turn off some of those, okay? Now guys, one of my favorite things that I can't even tell you how long ago I've had this, but it is the posting edit list. And my posting edit list, the only time this comes up is after I'm done with my calculate, but before I get to my printing. So if I'm starting to print checks, guess what? I will never get this one back up. Okay, so you got to make sure you get your information before you get to your print window. And the thing that I will tell you on this one, probably my favorite thing, is I can see if I have any issues right away on my payroll posting. okay? And I can actually edit. If I knew this one was supposed to go 2161, I can edit, but just make sure you get that payroll all the way through, because if I end up rebuilding, recalculating, I've lost that change. Those of you that are looking for your suspense accounts, don't forget, I can put my suspense account right here, redisplay, and check that payroll long before I get to any printing. Okay, kind of a good one to do when you've got new employees and you're saying, I want to just see one employee and I want to make sure that employee is going absolutely to the perfect place, right? So I'm hoping you guys are all using a few of those, okay? Now, I'm going to go back over here because I know Judy's got us on a pretty tight time schedule today. I keep telling her I need more like 3 hours for payroll stuff versus half hours, but they always cut me off, guys, at like a half hour. I don't know why. Okay, so this one is probably one of my most favorite new features, and it's where I'm going to be able to share one maximum across a benefit group or a deduction group. Okay, so guys, I can go ahead and put those two 401ks in. If I've got a 401k regular and a 401k catch up, I can bring those both in, and then I can go ahead and set that calendar year max right here across both of them. Okay, now one of the things that we have been asked so many times over this last year is, how about those HSAs? Because HSAs really are a little different, right? They cross both the benefit and the deduction with one max. Well, we hopefully, fingers crossed, right, Judy, fingers crossed, we'll have a new product out here, and probably, I'm going to say the next 60 to 90 day window. Our goal was October to get this one out to public, but we're calling it the Benefit Deduction Max Plus, and it's going to allow you to do those HSAs. So be watching for that one from our team. That's a little sneak peek, and that's coming from the WS Tools team, that piece, and it'd be a regular tool with a small purchase price and enhancement. Okay, but this one, if you guys haven't started using the deduction benefit piece that's coming with GP straight out of the box, take a look at that, especially as you look at, how am I doing my open enrollments? How am I doing my new benefits and my deduction plans? Okay, kind of a fun one there again for you. Okay, now guys, there is so much still overall in core product that if you haven't been in and looked at, like, let's say all of the options underneath HR, there is so much there. Pick out one or two and say, okay, I'm going to tackle these for going up for next HR year, and just tackle one or two as time allows. Okay, so, and again, you can get to any of your HR features by using your go-to and then your human resource button, and you can see all of these different pieces. Maybe you want to do just something as simple as just, let's get everybody that has keys for the building in the system, right? And you can do that quick and easy underneath property, and then start people using those property features, those termination checklists, the orientation checklist. There's so many good things here in the overall HR product. Okay, now Judy, I know we're down to just a couple minutes left, and you know I have way more content than ever have the talking ability, but I know you want to make sure that we get some questions answered. So I'm going to have us go ahead and take a peek at the question pane, and just let me know if you've got anybody waiting there. And at the same time, guys, we've got like 2 minutes left. If you want to ask any questions, just let Judy know, and she can go ahead and unmute, and we can get everybody a little bit of airtime as well.
So yes, feel free to ask questions. We don't have any at this moment, so feel free to ask questions or raise your hand. Great job, Deb. This is just so, I mean, I love how you do this, because it's just so, you're so excited about the payroll and all these features. And I had no idea. A long time ago, I used to touch payroll. It's been a long time, but and I'm looking, wow, I'm amazed at all the different features and items that are available. That's great, just great.
Well, and you know, there's so much here in core product right? But as you look at like your transition to the cloud and wanting to maybe start looking at, let's say, maybe moving some payroll pieces even to the cloud, and how does that look and what do? We definitely have some good options for you there, whether you're using web client with GP Dynamics, a Green Shades payroll in the cloud. There's definitely options there as well, guys. I love the GP payroll products. They've always done a great job for us. Lots here, lots of things that we have got coming for year end and in that next release. So guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Judy, as always, great job. And guys, we'll see you guys all at GPUC, if not sooner.
Hey, we do have one quick question here at the end. Okay, where do we look to find that if I'm running 2016 or 2018?
Oh, great question. You can go ahead and go to your little help icon, your little question mark, okay? And then you should see, if I can see my screen here, about Microsoft Dynamics GP. That'll bring up, and it'll show you that current version right over here. As long as you're starting with an 18, you're really, really pretty good. If you got a 16, let's talk and let's get you upgraded. And I know Terry's working really hard on getting everybody upgraded to that 2018 version. So you're all set for year end, okay?
Sounds perfect. And we'll try and remind everyone that that is on an older version as well, that, let's look into how we can help you and get those things moving forward, because we want to get paid in 2022.
Yep, perfect. Okay, guys, great question. Thanks, Judy. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with us today, and we'll talk to you guys all very soon, okay?